Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this particular video, we are going to discuss about management, art versus science. I believe this is one of the most important questions we have in the evolution of management. And like even if you're a BBA student or MBA student or a competitive exam student, you might find a question from this topic, right? So do watch this video very carefully. Those who wish to join my Telegram channel, they can join from this link. And if you want to access all my notes, including this one, you can join my channel. The link will be in the description. Okay, let's begin. So the first thing we need to understand that management is a very crucial function for organization, right? It involves planning, right? We start from planning and then it goes to organizing, then it goes to leading, then it goes to controlling and then back to planning. So the process keeps on rotating like a cycle, right? But management becomes very essential because it helps us in achieving the organization goals as well as it helps us to become efficient as well as effective, right? So if you know the difference between efficient and effective, do let me know in the comment section by giving an example. Okay, moving on, a long standing debate in management theory is management is an art or a science, right? So I guess right from the beginning of the evolution of management, this has been a continuous debate that whether management should be considered as a science or management should be considered as an art. So the reality is management has element of both. So the most important thing we need to understand before we get into delve into topic is that management has both characteristics. Like it has the characteristics of science also and it has the characteristics of art also. And I'm going to discuss both of them over in this lecture. Okay. So let's talk about management as a science, right? Those people who believed management as a science, what were their assumptions about management? Okay, let's talk about that. So science is a systematic body of knowledge based on principles, experiments, and observation that can be tested and validated. So if we look at the definition of science, science clearly says that it's a systematic body, right? And it has principles, it has experiments, it has observation, and that can be tested and validated again and again, right? So that is what science is, right? Management has scientific principles and structured framework, making it a social science rather than a pure science like physics or chemistry. So what is important over here that management do have some scientific principles and structured frameworks, but it doesn't give the same result like science, because science will always give you similar results, but in management the results might be vary even though the framework or the principles remains the same. And that is the reason why it is called as social science and not called as a pure science like physics or chemistry. Characteristics of management as a science, if we look at that, number one is systematic body of knowledge. So management do have their own theories, it has principles, it has frameworks, and that are completely structured based on studies, based on research, based on observation, just like science, right? And some of the examples are Fayol 14 principle, Taylor scientific theory. So there are a lot of examples, right? And what about the second point? The second point here is that universally accepted principles. So when you look at management, management has those principles which are completely and universally accepted, and it applies to various situations. It applies to various organization, just like science, because science can also be applied to different field, right? Similarly, so the principle of division of work can be applied to all the organization to improve the efficiency, whether it is a small organization or whether it is a large organization. Division of work can easily be applied and at different levels of management as well. Okay, so management first, like management as a science, first 2 points: first is systematic body of knowledge and second is universally accepted principles. So moving to the third point, and that is called cause and effect relationship. So what is cause and effect relationship? Cause and effect relationship means management principles often causes cause and effect. That means it is like a scientific law. That means X variable can affect Y and Y variable can affect X, right? Just like science, right? We know so many chemical equations, right? Where there are two chemicals, they react. They may form a new bond also, right? So examples, if like for example, increasing employee motivation causes lead in higher productivity. So there is a cause and there is an effect, just like science. Moving on to the number 4 point, the point is experiments and observation. Management theories were not only based on intuition, they were also based on case study analysis, observations, empirical studies, and that is the reason why it has the quality of science. For example, remember the experiments done by Alton Meyer, the Hawthorne experiment, right? It is a famous experiment which was completely based on observation and it was empirically tested also. So that is the reason why management has quality of science. Number fifth point, predictability and measurement. So management is data driven, right? Management do produce a lot of data. Either it may be quantitative variable, it may be qualitative variable, but it produces a lot of data, and that data, it can be used for predicting the trends, right? Sales trend or motivation trend or attrition trend, anything you can write. For example, financial reporting can use to collect companies' performance. So in this way, these 5 points are very important, and that's why management is called as science. Now moving on to the next point, that why management is called as an art, right? So management is, no, let's understand first what is art, right? Art is the creativity, intuition, skills, personal judgment in applying knowledge to achieve desired outcomes. Management is an art because it requires the ability to make decision, lead people and solve problem creatively. So it's not about that you have created a system and that will run every time and produce the similar results. You will always require some creativity. And that's why management requires some kind of personal judgment, some kind of intuition, some kind of skills, right? And that's why it's called as an art. So let's talk about what are the different characteristics of management we have as an art. Number one is personalized application. Management is all about applying theories creatively based on a unique problem or unique solution or a unique situation, right? Different leaders apply different leadership theory even in the similar situation, right? It's very like sometimes when it is person oriented, so person will always have their own unique style. So even if the situation is same, they have a different leadership style, and that can be applied and they can give positive results. They might give similar positive results. So it's a very personalized thing. Number two is practical knowledge. Just like an artist hones his skills through practice, and manager also develop a lot of expertise based on their experience, right? A seasoned manager handles a crisis much better than a new manager. When people are new, they are not very sure about their decision making, but a seasoned manager who has already seen so many crises, so many situations, they will always give you better results. So it's based on practical knowledge, it's based on practice. Third thing, creativity and innovation. Management involves innovation thinking, problem solving, and adapting to the dynamic environment. Let's take an example. Steve Jobs, we know, right? He revolutionized the smartphone industry through innovative product management. So it had science, but it had a lot of art also. And next we have is called decision making and judgment. So manager rely on intuition and experience to make decision whether there is uncertainty. So we do have data in our hand, right? So we can use that data to take decision, but at the same time, a lot of decisions are also taken based on intuition, based on your experience. Let's take an example, a CEO deciding whether to expand international despite of their economic fluctuation. So based on his experience, he can always take the decision either we have to go there or we should not be going there. Next is leadership and motivation. So unlike science, which is based on formulas, management requires leadership, which requires a lot of inspiration, a lot of guiding employees, which is not part of science. Science is very, very straightforward, right? Management and art doesn't go like a straight line. So transformational leaders like Elon Musk or Indra Nui, they will always have vision. They gather people. They use their scientific methods. They they even use their scientific methods, but at the same time, they have their own liberty of their intuition. That helps for them, right? Let's talk about management. What is the limitation of management as a science, right? That's very important. First, unlike physical sciences, management deals with human, right? Which is very unpredictable, right? It is very difficult to predict human behavior. Management principles may not be universally applicable in the same way as scientific laws. As we know that, right? Scientific laws are very, very constant. On the other side, management's uh, principles may vary based on the situation and person also. Experimentation in management is limited since it involves people and organization. So in science, experimentation is the core of science, right? But on the other side, management do involves some kind of experimentation, but often those experimentations are done on people, so, and that's why the result may vary. So let's talk up in the form of, so let's conclude this topic. Management is neither purely science, neither purely an art. Very simple. Always remember this line. And it is balanced combination of both, where science provides you principles, data and structured knowledge, and art provides you creativity, leadership and decision making, right? Successful manager leverage both aspects and navigate complex business. So you can use management both as science plus art. So that will always, so formula, if I say management is equals to science plus art. Okay, so thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this particular session. Uh, this is the new channel. Do subscribe to this new channel. We are posting all our lectures in English in this channel. If you want to watch the Hindi version of this video, I'll be posting the link in the description. We'll be meeting in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.